So while we've got all these processes going on, we're killing off stuff and we're trying to process the toxins and get all that stuff out of our body. That's great. We still need to eat to be able to provide our body with enough energy to be able to do all of these things. Eating can get difficult because during this die-off process, the bugs, which some can have roots inside the wall of the digestive lining, as they die off, imagine if they are tearing out chunks or leaving holes in the digestive system inside the lining of your intestines. Now obviously that means it's not going to function that well. The body's going to have to put a lot of energy into rebuilding that lining through there, and that can be tough. So we really want to be able to support the body like that. There is a couple of really key things that are going to work in this process. So as far as repairing the digestive lining, we've got stuff like glutamine and gelatin / collagen. It can be used in the same sort of name, but both of those things get in there and help the digestive system heal. It just helps to seal up the gut wall, and the more that we can seal up that intestinal lining, the better it's going to be able to work, so we can absorb more nutrients from the food. Now, this can take a while, especially if we're still killing these things off. So while we're killing them off, you may want to look at how you're eating and adjust accordingly. So one of the things you can do is go to having juices and smoothies. You could do a full juice fast, or you could start the day with just the juice. That's something that I've done. I've done both of those things at different times. I have done up to a 2-week juice fast, including I did a week of a juice fast while I was on holidays in Hawaii. That was tough, but again, I thought it was helping the process, and I think it worked quite well. Who knows? Same thing with smoothies. You're now having something where the digestive system doesn't have to work quite so hard, so it can absorb those nutrients much easier. It doesn't have to do so much work in breaking down the food because it's already broken down quite substantially. So the juice tends to be just absorbed really quickly. There will be a little bit of breakdown work that has to happen with the smoothies, but again, nowhere near as much as what you would have with regular foods. So one of the things that we like to use is digestive enzymes when you're eating your meals, especially your heavy protein-rich type meals. So I've got a few different ones here. Again, I like to cycle through them to see which works or if anything is better than another one. So there's this guy here, which is betaine, HCl, pepsin, and gentian bitters, whatever those things are. We've got some bromelain here, which you'll often find in pineapple, super enzymes as well. So we take these with meals to help break down the different things. I am combining them. Some people will say just use one. Again, figure out what works for you, or work with a naturopath to find out what is the best way to go. Now, breaking down the foods is all good, but you still have to be picky on what foods you eat. Or you could just go with whatever works for you at the time. Now, I say if you are picky, it's going to make things easier. So for me personally, I am having a smoothie for breakfast and for afternoon tea to give my digestive system a rest. Go back a week ago, and for a possibly 2-week period, I was having a smoothie for lunch as well. Again, just to rest the digestive system, leave it feeling better. I got to a point where my body started to crave more of its solid food again, so I switched over to a solid meal at lunchtime. And that was fine as long as I used the digestive enzymes. It seemed to sit quite well. Even with that meal, my meal is generally protein, some vegetables, and plenty of fat. That's a general rule of thumb for me. Now, protein is an important one to have a look at. So if you are eating heavy meats, especially darker meats, you'll find the body has to work really hard to break them down. Even with your digestive enzymes, it can take a whole lot of work. So from the research I've found, and from self-experimentation, when I switched to using wild-caught fish for lunch and dinner, my body was able to digest those much easier. So now one of my staples is the wild Alaskan pink salmon. I generally do use the canned stuff, and while canned stuff is not ideal because the cans do have a lining which is quite often with the BPA plastics and that sort of thing in there. It's not great, but it's still the best way that I can go about having wild caught fish, because if you were to buy fresh wild caught Alaskan salmon or even any salmon, you're paying big dollars for it. So I'm doing the other detoxification processes. This helps. Well, the detoxification will help to offset that. At least I feel more comfortable doing it this way than I do paying $60 a kilo for fresh wild caught salmon. These are wild Scottish sardines, same sort of thing. You can do whatever works best for you and your lifestyle and your budget, and that's great. Again, with the fish, this is something that I'm having for lunch and dinner until that point where I feel like my body does digest the foods a lot better. Now, having said that, on the weekend, or possibly once throughout the week, I might have some red meat or something like that because I'm just craving it more. And I kind of use that as a test day as well, just to see how my body is going to react. I will monitor how I'm feeling after eating those foods, and I will play it by ear as to when I feel like my body is more ready to go back to eating those heavier meats. I think my body does quite well on the heavier, darker meats. So lamb and beef, especially the ground beef, ground lamb, much better again. And that's something else I would suggest with you if you are eating any of these meats. If you can get your mince meat, your ground meat, doesn't matter what it is, it's already partially broken down, so you don't have to do so much work chewing it, and then it's going to go into your digestive system. Now, we all know that most people are in a rush getting their food down. So if you're having a big steak and you're cutting it off and you're only having 5 or 10 chews before you swallow it, then that meat isn't really broken down anywhere near enough, and the stomach and the digestive system has to work extra hard to break those things down. So that's something to be aware of. Mincemeat, fantastic. It's a step that takes away from all of that chewing effort to give you a little bit more discipline, or a little bit more time until you can build the discipline to slow down, chew slowly. It's just something else you don't have to think about. And that's kind of important. I'm going to mention intermittent fasting as well. Intermittent fasting can be beneficial for a lot of people because it does give the digestive system some rest. However, it does come with a big caveat, which is if you also have adrenal fatigue and you are running out of energy, intermittent fasting can be a big stress on the system. So it's something to proceed with caution on. I generally don't do so much intermittent fasting now. I have tried it in the past, but I found my body really didn't do well with it. I was always better if I woke up and ate something fairly soon in the morning. My guide at the moment is I try and have about 12 hours or so between meals. If I can get 12 hours, I know that there's still plenty of time for the digestive system to do a whole load of repair. And like I said, my first meal is a liquid meal. Again, it's not too much strain on the digestive system. I'm trying to give it as much chance as it can to rest and repair as fast as possible. What else we got? Green supplements. So I've got this one right here. The green supplements, I bring that up for a particular reason. Some people, their digestive system might be so screwed up that they actually find it difficult to digest fruits and vegetables really well. Now, I already mentioned that we need those fruits and vegetables for prebiotics to feed the good bacteria. If you can't break down those fruits and vegetables as well as you would like, and this is quite a common thing for people, then having a green supplement is just like insurance on your digestion. So you're actually getting some nutrients to power your body. So I have some of that green supplement in my smoothies each day, morning and afternoon, just to give me that little bit extra nutrition to ensure I'm looking after my body. So even though I might have, say, 7 to 10 servings of vegetables in a day, which by all counts is quite a lot, I may not be able to absorb all the nutrition from them because I can't break it down, and then the digestive system, intestinal lining, is not able to extract what it needs as well as it should do. Yeah, it's just a great way of insuring yourself against that. So rest the digestive system, support digestive process as much as possible, and it will be able to recover faster. That is something that is key. It is not just the way while you are going through the killing off period as well. This is something that happens afterwards. So maybe your protocol of killing off goes for 3 months. You may need another 3 months or more on the other side of it